Well, should we hit
In a
another
canoe.
egg topic, Bridget? This is one.
Sure, what do you want to
This
talk
is one
about?
from yesterday we didn't get time to get to, and I was kind of curious by it. And it's the Three Sisters planting system. Is this like an actual piece of equipment, or is this three sisters that go out and help you plant your fields?
When if you remember talking about when the Pilgrims came and they were taught by the Native Americans a planting system where you used corn as your taller crop, then you'd plant beans next to them so that the beans could curl up the corn, and then you would plant pumpkins, which would act as a cover crop. That's actually being a system that's being used more by the NRCS in Rhode Island. They're promoting that because that helps you in a couple of different ways. First of all, you get your corn that holds everything in place for as far as ground protection. You get the beans that provide additional nitrogen for the corn plant, and the pumpkins or squash act as ground cover to prevent weeds, but also additional erosion. And so they're just touting that as an intercropping system method that could be used, not saying that it's perfected, that we're all going to run right out and plant all three of those crops together, because our harvesting equipment would have to be very different, be a bit more labor intensive, but wanting to share with folks that that's a mentality to use when it comes to planting, that that system can help us in a variety of ways, again, with erosion, with nitrogen management, and also when it comes to even crop quality as far as how we plant, interseed, and crop together. So just a system that's being looked at and proposed to be used more and more.
So let me get this straight. You plant the corn, you plant beans that grow up the corn, and then to stop the weeds from growing underneath it, you grow pumpkin or squash. And this
Yes,
actually
because if
works
you've ever
out.
grown pumpkin, they shade out. Yes, if you, I know a lot of folks that do that in their home gardens, and it's very effective.
Come harvest time, I would think that'd be a little difficult.
I feel like it would be very difficult.
With equipment, it would be. Again, this is the concept that they're using. This is different when you are using a small scale operation that uses more hand labor than if you're using mechanization where you're trying to run a combine through there, because there's going to be a lot of squished pumpkins trying to get that corn out.
I might have to try that this year.
You should.
'Cause that sounds
in your garden
interesting.
system.
But don't
But you know what else you could do?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to
Go
say,
ahead. Finish up.
don't they fight for the nutrients in the soil? They fight for the water. I mean, obviously, you just give them more water if it's a home garden. And you had mentioned that something deposits nitrogen back into the soil. But my initial thought is if you're planting those first or three things on top of each other, aren't they just going to battle for the nutrients and water?
You're always going to want to have enough water for everybody involved. Corn will tap down further and will go for a deeper root system to find deeper water. Soybeans, which would be more shallow, they're nitrogen fixing, so they create nitrogen that they put back in the soil that the corn would uptake, and then you'd have the pumpkins as well on top of that for shade. And pumpkins, actually, a lot of their moisture goes in through their, not through their root system, but through their leaves. They have such big leaves that they take a lot of that dew and moisture in, so they take moisture up in a different way. So that's a real possibility to look at. Now, when we have Randy Nelson with us on Friday as our guest, Randy is Clay County Extension Educator. We're going to talk about picking your garden seeds, writing your garden map. This Three Sisters planting concept would probably be a great topic of conversation with Randy as we get into more discussions with him.